what is your phobia?
Arachnophobia.
And why do you think you have this phobia?
Exposure to spiders.
Okay, and what is your biggest fear of facing this phobia?
Either driving and having a spider crawl on me, or have one crawl down my throat while I'm sleeping.
Okay, thank you. So what is your phobia?
Aphidophobia, it's the fear of snakes.
And why do you have this fear?
Snakes are little ugly things. They crawl up in your jeans and go up your legs, and I don't know, I just don't like them.
Okay, and what would be the scariest situation you have to face this fear?
Being in a room full of just big old nasty snakes everywhere.
Okay, thank you. So what is your phobia?
I don't like heights. It's like
What's it called?
arachnophobia.
Acrophobia.
Acrophobia.
And what's your biggest fear, like facing your fear?
Roller coasters. I don't like those at all.
Okay, thanks. So what is your phobia, Mr. Mason?
I have agoraphobia, which is the fear of like escaping situations or like being like enclosed in a small space.
Okay, and why do you have this fear?
I believe part of this comes from when I was a little kid. My brothers put me in a closet and locked me. So it was pretty traumatic. They locked the door, left me in there for about a half hour, which is a long time for a little kid. A couple minutes is a long time for a little kid. So imagine being stuck in there for an eternity, right? And then luckily they unlocked it without me knowing, and I eventually broke out through the door. But that kind of like, I never wanted to be in that situation again. So whenever I feel cramped up in a space, I don't like it, and it's just kind of, I think that's how I got it.
Okay, that's understandable. And what is your biggest fear of having to face this phobia?
The biggest fear would probably be like anytime somebody sits over me, like if like somebody like sat on my chest or something, I'd just be like, oh, get off, you know, I don't like to be enclosed, I don't like people like near me very often. Plus like anytime I would have like a nightmare about it, I guess, like if I had a biggest fear, it would be something about to the extent of being like buried alive or in a small space like a coffin for like a long time. It's kind of crazy.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Hi, what's your fear?
Phobia of dogs.
Yeah, it's called cynophobia. And why do you have that fear?
Because when I was a little baby, I got attacked by a dog.
Let's see it. Ooh, look at that scar. Okay. And what's your biggest fear of facing the phobia now?
Probably getting attacked by another dog.
Hey Taylor, what's your fear? Astrophobia, which is the fear of thunder and lightning. And what do you think this came from? I don't know, I've just always been scared, and I think it was when I was little, my parents were gone, and my babysitter was sleeping, and there was a storm, and I just got really freaked out and couldn't sleep. And what's your biggest fear of facing this phobia? Just being stuck out in a storm with no shelter or anything. Cool, thanks. Hi, so what is your phobia? My phobia is trypanophobia, which is the fear of injections. And why do you have this phobia? I have this phobia because when I was little, to get my first shots, they had to have 5 nurses to hold me down. And I got a couple shots, so. Oh, so what is your biggest fear having to face this phobia? To face it, anytime I get shots is really, I cry almost every time. And giving blood, I was pretty much close to crying the whole time, so it was really freaky, but. Okay, thank you. What is your phobia?
I have a social phobia.
And what is your biggest fear of being stuck in this phobia?
Having to stand in front of people and talk.
Okay, thank you. Hi, what is your phobia?
Pterophragmophobia.
And that is the fear of flying. Why are you afraid of flying?
I'm afraid of heights and claustrophobic, so just being in that small space for that high up. So.
Yeah. Okay. And what is your biggest fear of having to face this phobia?
Just getting on the airplane and then being afraid that it's going to crash.
Okay, thank
Hi,
you.
what's your phobia?
My phobia is mysophobia.
Which is the fear of germs. And then what
Why do you think you have this fear?
I always tend to think there's germs on my hands, so I'm always washing my hands constantly.
And what's your biggest fear of facing this phobia?
Like if someone sneezes on my hands, I would quickly wash my hands.
Cool, thanks. Cool, cool.
Who else is doing this?